My editor, Stevie, has been begging me. Stevie's been begging me to watch this video. For Stevie's sake! Listen, if the poor man has to edit me reacting to 4chan's femboy blackmail cult, alright? Well, then we could react to a video that he actually would want. Nakey Jakey made a video, The Age of Broken Video Games, and I love the fact that there have been so many broken video games coming out, because I like watching people defend them. I am in a very weird niche, okay? Listen, I don't play the video games, unless they're from Soft. I just like when video games come out and they're broken, people complain that they're broken, and then the hardcore fanboys defend the broken games. Let's just jump right into it.
I think the first thing that comes to mind when I think of the PS4 and Xbox One era is all of the games that released in just a totally busted state. Don't get me wrong, broken games have existed since long before the PS4 and Xbone. Shout out Superman 64. Hi Clark, how are ya? Good to see you. Haven't seen you since college when you lasered that professor. But there definitely weren't nearly as many big budget AAA busters. You know, Big Rigs is barely comprehensible, but that game was made by one man in a pond, not a giant AAA Megatron. Back in the prehistoric days of the Xbox,
known by the one guy in the pond that made the game. Shout out to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. You know how Pokemon is literally the biggest franchise in the world? And their new game came out and looked like shit.
360 and PS3, downloading an update to fix issues or add stuff to your disc-based game after its release was like a fairly new concept, but like an actually pretty cool concept. Wait, so the interweb can make my already legendary game even more legendary by downloading this epic Chuck Norris update?
I love the zooms.
That's pretty like a boss. I see no way this could ever end badly for the consumer. It is 2007, I just saw Michael Clayton. But nowadays, the disc inside that case you just bought is practically dead weight the second you've installed the game and downloaded the likely necessary giant update full of fixes not included on the disc. Because the disc was actually manufactured months prior to the game's set release date, and the developers kept working on stuff during that time, likely because the publisher set the release date way too early. And we're just like, it's fine, everyone has the internet, you'll fix it in time, just never stop working. You don't have to—
Stevie, make my models start zipping all over the place. Shrink me, make me big. Yeah, Stevie, you got this.
Your family is dumb. Your families are literally the cringiest idiots I've ever seen. Why do you want to go home to them? Goofy. Your family? L! The disc may as well just be a doctor's note that tells your PS4, yes, my son actually does own the game. Now, go ahead and give him the necessary day one flu shot. Oh my god, it's 87 gigabytes. Fallout 76 didn't even actually come with a disc, so you actually just got a cool new blue coaster for your psychotic—
No way! It didn't come with the disc? No shot.
Basically, if you don't have internet access nowadays as a gamer, you're screwed. But my goal with this video isn't just to be like, wow, things used to be better back in the day and now they're all bad, grr, because it's not that simple or true. Big budget broken video games exist for a lot of reasons. The first one being making video games is just really, really hard. I have been openly critical of many big budget AAA games on this channel, but I hope that I have always made one thing very crystal Pepsi clear. A lot of very talented people work very hard for very long, crunchy Nature Valley hours to make even seemingly simple stuff like this possible, and it's crazy. And in order for a game to be even considered pretty good by the general public, gameplay, sound, story, characters, performance, all of these things have to perfectly align in the gamer night sky. Obviously, modern technology has made creating virtual worlds a lot easier than it was back in the 80s or 90s, and I think we often take that for granted. We've come a long way from the days where 3D was a bit more of a fluid, abstract concept like jazz, and you aimed a gun with the same finger you drove James Bond with. But with better tools and better hardware comes bigger projects, with bigger budgets, with bigger teams, with bigger lists of bigger problems that your big ass better fix with your big tractor. And if you've ever been hanging out with a big group, you know that even doing something as simple as deciding where to go for dinner can quickly become a f***ing boss fight. Especially when your friend's mom, who's paying for the dinner, has all these crappy dinner demands because she's trying to satisfy her dinner shareholders. This metaphor is getting a little goofy. I think you get the point.
It's a bit of a goofy metaphor, but I'm with you. I'm following.
Clayton still. So I think the first obvious reason for AAA games releasing in a broke state is that game development is just insanely hard and requires so much dedicated collaboration and efficient time management, and it's a miracle that any video game ever gets finished and even exists at all, and all video games should go to heaven. The second reason is New video games sell around $60, or I guess now $70 on PS5 and Xbox Series S, X. Why the f did they call them that? And it's been around that $50 to $60 price point for a while, even though AAA games take way longer to make now and have way bigger budgets than back in the day when I was star quarterback. So because of all that, and also inflation, in some cases, it's kind of a steal to get a game like Elden Ring for only $60.
Honestly, so true. Elden Ring was just the best game ever.
When Eternal Ring was $50 23 years ago, and the swords in that game are tiny. They're not nearly as girthy or as long as Elden Ring. You go out in public with that shrieking, I'll kick your ass. Donkey Online has a really good video about video game pricing that you should go watch later, but not right now. If you leave, you won't see how I learned how to spin.
Damn.
Spin later.
Damn! I have to continue watching now! Like and subscribe!
You're gonna want to see that. So if you're a company whose main priority at the end of the day is just to generate as much profit as humanly possible,
Damn.
why not cut a few corners, you know?
That's where the fun starts. That's where the fun begins, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of corner cutting here and there may seem like you're not doing such a big deal. It's not like it's such a big job, but when I see a minor editing mistake in a video, shit, man, that's what I am gonna focus on. Was that a minor editing mistake I've seen in your fantastic documentary that you've made? I'm going to mention that in the comments. Nux calling out his own editor. You want me to call my own editor out? Cutting corners? Huh? You want me to call my own editor out? Yu-Gi-Oh! But with Anime Rules series. All right, listen. Look at my intro. Okay, look at the intro. And this intro has been in every single episode of the entire series, all right? Stevie, you're watching? You're watching, Stevie? Leave all this into the reaction video. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Yu-Gi-Oh! But with Anime Rules. We all know the anime. We all know they love cheating, so that's what we're doing today, ladies and gentlemen. Ready? Yu-Gi-Oh! With Anime Rules for the first season. You ready? You ready for the minor editing mistake? Era. We will be normal summoning monsters without tributes. And he puts all spells are quick play. All spells and traps are quick play. Again! First of all, that's wrong. It's only all spells are quick play, not traps. And second of all, you said that already on the first one. Yeah, Stevie? And guess what? He uses the same intro without fixing that shit. All right, I'm just kidding. I love Stevie. This was all just a joke. The point was, when you make incredibly high quality stuff like Stevie does, every once in a while you cut corners. Not that it's acceptable to cut corners. And listen, I don't pay Stevie as much as Pokemon made off Scarlet and Violet. That had no excuse as to why it looked like as shit as it did. All right? Also, literally no excuse that Cyberpunk came out and looked like absolute ass. It looked like ass, and not even the good ass, like in Genshin Impact. Everyone that plays Genshin Impact plays it for positive ass. I'm talking about the bad ass, the proverbial ass.
Profit as humanly possible. Why not cut a few corners, you know? Assuming that your reputation isn't all that important to you.
And to be fair, Game Freak's reputation isn't important because they're gonna make a half-ass, garbage-ass game, and everyone's gonna buy it anyway.
Because if it's a choice between A, spending millions of dollars for every month that you lengthen development time to ensure that you release a relatively bug-free and finished product, and hope it eventually pays off because lots of people recognize that it's good quality and buy it and sing your praises and you win awards at the big show and Jeff goes, oh man, your game is so big, it's the biggest game I've ever seen, dude. Which is all a very big gamble. Or B, set a very unrealistic release date that you know damn well you will not make and force your team to crunch their asses off only to still release a broken game that you'll maybe eventually fix with a giant update long after release and after you've already made all your money. And to make sure you definitely see a return on your giant investment and satisfy your investors, you do all these pre-order bonuses and fancy trailers with celebrities just to guarantee that people buy your game before gamers can even know that the game is busted as hell because you've also made it so that no publication can drop a review for the game until the day the game comes out, which should be illegal. Yeah, if the only thing you care— He's preaching. The games should not be allowed to control the critics. And I hate that it is like that. Video game critics today suck. About is sales in your quarterly reports. You're definitely planting at bomb site B. Just like Ubisoft and EA and Bethesda and Square Enix and Activision and
Don't look, Bethesda. I know you wanted to sponsor me. Look, Bethesda, look away.
Project Red and Microsoft. like several times. You very rarely see Sony or Nintendo or Rockstar publish a big, broken, unfinished mess. Because they know that their reputation is a big reason people purchase games that have their cute little sexy logos in the corner. The Last of Us Part 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, God of War, all of these Sony exclusives released in relatively bug-free and complete states. And, well, Days Gone was iffy, but we don't have to talk about Days Gone. Yeah, I said your name, sweetie. Now go back to bed, okay? Doesn't mean that those devs didn't have to crunch like hell to reach the finish line. No, unfortunately, crunch is a huge problem.
Bethesda's bugs are part gameplay. Damn, chat, you kill me.
Across the entire industry, and even Golden Girl publishers and developers like Sony and Naughty Dog aren't exceptions to that. It's still very much not ideal. But apparently even Golden Girls like Nintendo or Rockstar, companies with some of the highest rated games of all time under their championship belt, they push Site B too. It's B, rush B, rotate B, rotate B. The GTA Definitive Trilogy was one of the most appalling and disappointing re-releases of a beloved franchise that the world has ever seen. And this is Rockstar, the company that put out this game, and this game, and this game, and this game. And fuck it, even this game is amazing. And you know money isn't tight with how much of a cash cow GTA 5 continues to be 10 years later. Like, this isn't an indie publisher rushing out Hog Simulator 3 because they're strapped for cash after their Kickstarter failed. No, this is Rockstar. It's just greed. I don't know if it falls on Rockstar or their parent company Take-Two, but at some point, someone or someone's somewhere said, "F it, we'll do it live!" And Nintendo, they just published the two lowest rated mainline Pokemon games to ever exist. Games now famous online for their hilarious bugs. And I ain't talking about Caterpie. And even if there's a fun game buried underneath all the bugs, it should be illegal to advertise and sell a product in this state. And that brings me to my final reason that I think broken AAA games will continue to exist. You. I touched on this in my ads and video games video, but oh my god, stop pre-ordering games. That's why these companies keep promising to serve you hot lunch square pizza and then go, "Psych, you're getting swapped!" Because they know the average consumer is gullible as hell and overly trusting and super loyal to their favorite thing.
That's what I was saying in the beginning. My favorite part about bugs in video games is making fun of the people defending the bugs.
And they prey on those sensibilities to make sure that your money ends up in their pocket. And it does. Every single time. Pokemon was busted as hell and still sold 20 million copies. It's like serious gamer Stockholm syndrome where people—
Dude, the new Pokemon game is like already in the top 2 or 3 selling games of all time. No one is gonna learn from these mistakes if they're incentivized with our dollars not to fix the mistakes.
We'll watch a pre-release review for a game like Dying Light 2 on IGN or GameSpot and defend the game like their f***ing life depends on it, even though they haven't even played it yet. Okay guys, but remember, this is without the day one patch, and we all know those usually fix everything. You can't spell ignorant without IGN or ants. And even months after the damage is done and a broken product has sold millions of copies because apparently gamers have toasters for brains, people in the comments will once again applaud and defend companies like—
That's what I'm saying, that's my favorite part. That's my literal favorite part.
EA or CD Projekt Red for sticking with their game and fixing it long after release, which it's like, I guess that deserves some level of praise, maybe? You know what I mean? It's like you buy a taco for the full price because you were advertised a full taco on the fucking taco screen. And when you get that taco, you open up the greasy paper just to see a busted ass half taco shell with only beans on it. Only beans. Oops, all beans. And then 6 months later, a Taco Bell employee rings your doorbell and gives you the other half of that busted taco that still doesn't have all the meat on it that they promised. And your response is to start clapping? Like, what the f***? And don't get me wrong, definitely throw love to the hardworking individual devs that actually got in the crunchy taco shell trenches and coded this broken mess back together. But give zero f***ing credit to the shitty overlord Taco Bell EA Corporation responsible for that broken taco that you paid full price for in the first place. God damn it, I need a taco or at least a churro to the throat. God. A lot of initially broke—
Food analogies are so good because at the end of the day, ultimately when you're buying food, you want food and that's it. And it's such an easy analogy every single time to just hit your point home.
And eventually blossom into really good ones like No Man's Sky, Master Chief Collection. Final Fantasy XIV was like completely reborn, pun intended, and people love it now, and that's awesome. But this cycle will repeat as long as gamers continue to buy games and pre-order games before even knowing if it runs as well as the pudding on their treadmill. The only possible change starts with you.
Okay, that was not the food metaphor that I was expecting, but I appreciate it.
But you choose to spend your money on. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep getting anthems shoved into our ant holes. But you know what they say, you can't spell Nakey Jakey without Jane or Kevin. I'm gonna start uploading more stuff to Jaquan the Jequel, so if you wanna go subscribe to my twin, you can.
What the fuck? What? What? You know people look this shit up.
And get some indie slop in between my AAA prestige exclusive DLC Nakey content. Thank you to Honey and Nakey Jakey and Jakey Attorneys at Law for sponsoring this video. Get at me on Instagram or Twitter, or don't. I can't.
Jaquan the Jequel is real. It's real.
Yo, good morning, gamers. Hope you're getting that bread. Welcome to the channel. I'm really happy you found me. We're gonna be uploading weekly, daily, hourly, probably by the minute, gaming content, sketch comedy, vlogs, cooking recipes, shoveling tutorials. We're kind of filming one right now.
Yeah.
We're trying to work on something, but stay tuned. God bless, I guess.
Jaquan the Jequel!
Yo, good morning, gamer.
Literally the best channel on all of YouTube. Anyway, yeah, this was a good video. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam!